Let's kick this thing off.
Want to go? Let's go. Let's do this. All right.
Let's do it.
Here we go, guys. Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Fantastic. My name is Hector Navarro, and Robert and everybody up here, they asked me very graciously to host this Skybound comics panel. That's what you guys are here for. So thank you guys again. This is a real thrill. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about and a bunch of stuff to cover. So let's go ahead and get started. There is going to be time for Q&A at the end. So if you guys have some questions that you wanted to come up and ask these brilliant gentlemen, let me go ahead and introduce everybody. Starting on my side and then going down, we have got Donnie Cates is here, of course.
Hi. Hi, Donnie.
That's
Hi. Hi, guys.
Mr. Robert Kirkman. Chris Burnham.
Boo.
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sean Makowitz.
Who?
These are the writers, artists, editors at Skybound Comics. They're some of the most brilliant people behind all of your guys' favorite stuff. So let's get into it. We have a slideshow. Here we go. Oh, before we start, actually, Robert, did you want to say anything?
Was I supposed to make an announcement?
No, I don't know. The floor's yours if you wanted to,
Well, I mean,
preface.
if it were up to me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything at all. Is that okay?
That is
You don't announce our beef?
It'd be great.
That we're beefing?
Yeah, Donnie and I are now fighting.
Yeah, we're fighting.
He's announced entirely too many projects at Marvel Comics, and I'm going to take him out.
Redneck is going to Marvel Comics tomorrow.
Oh, boy. I was
We get
yelling
Wolverine,
at him before the panel, and his hair turned pink.
Oh, come on. It was like Rogue. My stress turned.
So, guys, let's get started. Robert, you had a real cool thing.
Yeah,
Let's get started.
Yeah.
Let's go to this first slide here. We had an incredible surprise happen just last week.
Oh, baby.
Die.
Yes.
Have you guys had a chance to read it?
Yes.
We've got some head shakes. No, Robert, you've read it, which is awesome. Why don't you tell us about Die. This surprise.
It is co-written by myself and Scott Gimple, who's been the showrunner on Walking Dead for a very long time. It is drawn by absolutely nobody. And
Actually, Robert, I think the guy. I think he's.
yeah. I'm sorry. It's Donnie corrected me. It's drawn by an absolute nobody.
Yeah. Harsh.
No, it's got great art by Chris Burnham. The three of us created all the characters. It is a espionage book. It's a good way to describe it, right? It's got all kinds of crazy violence. It's very, I'm going to use the word zany.
It's got lots of jokes.
Yeah, it's got a little bit. It's got some jokes. It's got some jokes you're not going to want to laugh at. It's got some jokes that it's okay to laugh at, but you're going to laugh nonetheless. But it's very intense, dramatic, violent. It's all things. It's great. But it's about a secret cabal of senators within the U.S. government that use a team of assassins to manipulate world events through assassination, intimidation, blackmail, all kinds of fun things. So it's got great action. Just to give Chris Burnham some props. Working on the series so far, it's been a series of me going, I don't know how this is going to work in comics. And then I turn the script in and I'm like, let me know if there's anything that doesn't make sense. And then Burnham's just like, I got this. And then like these action sequences come back and I'm just like, everything is so clear and you can see all the ins and outs of what we were looking for, and he's added stuff that I didn't think of. It's all pretty spectacular.
Well, thank you. I'm trying hard.
Did that seem sincere?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You were a very good actor.
Chris, can you talk a little bit about your process in this and kind of working with Robert and what your approach is to this world, these characters? I mean, if you guys haven't read it, there's a great twist at the end of this first issue. I mean, it's full of so much stuff. So talk a little bit about your artistic approach.
Well, I guess I don't know. I guess my main focus with like a lot of the action sequences have like 7, 8, 9 panels per page. So my main focus is making sure that that the first and foremost that the action is clear, that like you can tell exactly what's happening without having to like focus or puzzle it out. Hopefully I'm doing an all right job of that, and then making it trying to make it as dynamic and gross and cool as possible, and really dialing in and looking at some just horrible reference on the internet, like what does it look like when your XYZ gets cut off. So my FBI.
I don't have one of those.
My FBI search alert or whatever is an absolute nightmare, I'm sure.
We all have that problem.
Yeah.
In case people are wondering, XYZ does not. You're not referring to penis. You didn't mean penis, unless you're talking about an issue I haven't read.
I mean,
What's your deal, Hector?
I'm sure that's coming. Yeah.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
I don't want to spoil the big severing thing from the first issue.
We actually might have a picture of that in the slideshow.
Oh, well.
So I'll spoil it.
Is it in the slideshow?
Let's find out. You know what? Actually, I know for a fact it is not. No, so we're
Okay.
just going to go leave it on this slide. But I wanted to talk to you guys because this thing dropped like a secret Beyonce album.
Yes.
Can you tell, I don't know if you haven't had a chance to talk about it, but can you talk a little bit about the decision that went into dropping this as a sort of secret project?
Yeah, I wanted to bring excitement back into the comic shops. When I was younger and when I was a kid and I would go into comic shops, there were tons of books that I would find there that I had never heard of. You know, they had better selections than what you would find at like a gas station or a Walmart or whatever. And so, you know, I would always come into comic shops and find new things. And the retailer, you know, the guy running the comic shop was always a wellspring of information. Oh, well, this is going to be coming out next month and this is happening. And it was kind of like the internet was embodied by a person. And I wanted to empower comic shop retailers to be able to be those, you know, message bringers again by not announcing the book, not telling anyone about it, and basically having the debut of the book be when comic shop retailers cut their box open and open it and go, oh, there's a book in here. This is insane, as they're preparing their weekly shipments. And yeah, it was a monumental undertaking to actually make that work.
To keep it secret.
Keeping the secret was one thing, but actually like working through an existing distribution system that is not set up for that to happen is also very, you know, tough, because there's so many different solicitation processes and everything that's in place that it's hard to skip those steps, you know?
Yeah.
But the teams at Skybound Image and Diamond Comics Distributors worked hand in hand to come up with the most reasonable way to make that happen. And it seems to have worked out great. I mean, it really surprised a lot of people, and it's been
what's
really
the response
exciting.
been like for you guys to see, you know, this thing surprise people and then they finally get it in their hands and they read it? What's the response been like for you guys?
It's been absolutely dynamite. Can we talk? There was a retailer summit the other day. We talked about that.
We can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so there's a room full of retailers and Robert and the rest of the Skybound guys, and it was uniformly positive. Everyone's super excited. All these people making money that they didn't know that they were going to be making. Yeah, all sorts of people. People coming to my table and getting it signed. Everyone's excited and surprised, and as like, hey, wait, when's issue 2 coming out? Is that a surprise too? It's actually on the inside back cover, buddy.
But we are keeping the covers a secret, and
Yeah.
so you won't know what the book looks like or what the story is. There's no previews of the individual issues, and so
Unless you're at this panel.
But yeah, and so people will be discovering new things each month when the book comes out. So it's going to be cool.
That's awesome. All right, cool. So that is Die, 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 moving from something that people weren't aware of more than a week ago to something that everybody, I think, on Earth is very aware of. And we've got some, oh no, look at that. There's some Die, Die, Die stuff right there.
You were
There
wrong
was
about
other-
those slides.
There was other slides. Look
Yeah,
at that.
I was not joking.
No, you were not. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, we got some stuff from issue 1, including one of the aforementioned XYZ scenes. You can click through these a little bit quicker.
Okay. Beautiful.
Just boom,
Oh, yeah, here we go.
crack.
Nicely done. Oh, we're about to see the big.
It's rough. That's rough.
I think this is the XYZ you were talking about, right?
Daniel, you okay? Daniel's first virgin out here, right?
He drew a book in which a young woman got her hand cut off,
Yeah,
and that
dude.
was like the beginning of it.
Yeah.
So
This is just the first
By
issue.
surprise.
It gets worse from here.
we have a couple pages from the second issue in the second cover just for the folks here. We're not.
Oh yeah, don't take any pictures of that.
Yeah.
Oh, here we
go.
go. This is issue 2 that we're
Yeah.
looking at right now?
Yeah.
Which will be in stores August 22nd. I
That's a
think.
great cover.
Is this never before seen on Earth?
No, not really. No.
No,
So
I mean,
this,
to me,
this is
I've
a
seen
panel exclusive. Don't be snapping any
gosh.
pics.
We got a
Everybody,
couple pages.
everybody is
non-spoilery.
really excited.
Yeah,
Look
there's
at that.
Some secret stuff.
Binocular shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Chris, why did you choose the binocular-shaped panel? Walk us through that decision.
Hold on, let me delete these.
You won't get our
really
secrets,
deleting
Joe Quesada.
Don't scroll too much further. There's
Trust me, Donnie, I'm not going anywhere.
Let me just get that from you. I'm
Well,
gonna
moving
type
from-
Moving from something
How
that
did
was
you get your legs up there? Anyway.
like I was trying to transition earlier, a little bit awkward, moving from something that nobody knew about more than a week and a half ago to something everybody's real familiar with, and a real special event as well, The Walking Dead. Now, Robert, you guys have got some stuff planned for this.
Oh, absolutely. We got our big Walking Dead Day coming in October. What exact day is that, Sean?
It is October 13th. It is a
October
Saturday.
13th. Yeah, go on. Talk more about Walking Dead Day. Let's tell the people what we're doing.
Yeah, it's something that retailers have really requested and fans. We were looking for a day to, really celebrate this wonderful creation. Yeah, that's it.
How many years? Is it 13 years?
No, I think it's been more than
Is
that.
it 14 years?
No, 15. I don't like this bit. No, so we're looking to drive fans, give them another reason to come in the comic book store, celebrate Walking Dead, and kind of hang out at the comic book shop. Also, bookstores, Barnes & Noble will be participating. Here are some covers for upcoming issues, including the Bill Sienkiewicz Negan cover, which is just fantastic.
Wow.
So he's been doing covers all year round. He did 12 different covers. And it's part of the Walking Dead Day celebration, which, wow. We're going to have some unique offerings. We're going to have a comic book store variant for the first issue. And we will also have a free issue for everyone that comes in, which is based on it's got the short stories with Michonne, Governor, Tyrese, and Morgan.
Yeah, we did a free comic book day book with that a few years ago, but those stories have never been collected, so we're publishing it again for people that may not have gotten it.
And we also, so those are those.
Yep.
And then we are also, on the next slide, we're doing a box set of the first 3 compendiums in this really cool packaging.
Oh, wow.
With an exclusive paperback version of Here's Negan, so that'll be exclusive to that.
And
box.
actually, that Here's Negan also has those short stories, so it's the most complete collection of The Walking Dead we've ever done. Just a lot of logistical craziness. So one cool thing, and we're doing these blind bags. We picked the 15 key issues of The Walking Dead, big first appearances, big deaths, and we picked 15 artists that we've never worked with on The Walking Dead, including Dan and Chris, and we polybagged them, so we're not showing any art off, except we're going to show one piece here for
What?
number 1. So this is our cover by David Finch and Annalisa Leone. Doesn't reproduce that well from this angle.
It looks great on this laptop.
Yeah.
It's really good. Show that off, Donnie. Thank you so much.
Oh, those colors are popping to the back row.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna.
Thanks, guys. This is dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we're planning a couple other surprises for that day as well. So talk to your local retailer, and thank you for all your support over the years. Those of you that actually support Walking Dead.
And if you don't support Walking Dead, go.
Chris, you've never been to one of these panels before. This is just a general tone.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is great. Have you guys done anything like this before with The Walking Dead, celebrating something like this?
We did
Not to this level, but
Not
yeah.
to this
we did a big 10th anniversary celebration, but we've been planning this for a couple of years, kind of formulating ideas. Robert, myself, and Sean Kirkham. I think if it excites us, then we expect that to translate to excite the fans, because we can get grumpy, and by we I mean he.
I'm always grumpy.
Speaking of, Robert, can you, just in a few sentences, sum up how you feel about having worked on The Walking Dead comic book for 15 years?
Tired.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Is anyone here that
No.
picked up the first issue, like on the
Yeah,
day it came out?
anybody pick up the first issue when it first came out?
Walking
I
Dead?
pirated
Yeah?
it.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Doesn't count.
Oh.
Doesn't count.
Yeah,
Doesn't count.
Fake fan.
like half
Get
count.
out of here, kid.
He's a legacy fan. That counts. That's great.
But no, I mean, it means the world to me, because The Walking Dead is everything I'd ever wanted to accomplish in my life. So I had always just wanted to do a continuing story that went on for years and years and years, and get to do whatever I wanted within a certain world. And the fact that it's been going this long, the fact that we're reaching very close to issue 200 and are going to go beyond that is it's just amazing. And to know that the fan base is there along for this ride with me, and that they continue to support us year after year after year, is just really gratifying, and I couldn't thank you guys enough. Like, it's really great. I am somewhat tired, but I am loving every minute of it. It's great.
That's awesome. Well, there you go. Thank you so much, guys. It's great. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to, yes, Donnie, you're excited about this.
Hell yeah, I'm excited about it, dude. I've known about this project for such a long time. Yeah, it's so dope.
If you guys haven't read Extremity, quick round of applause if you have read Daniel Warren Johnson's Extremity. It is incredible. It's mind-blowing. It's so great. And I heard about Murder Falcon, and I kept mispronouncing it and saying, like, Chicken Hawk or Killer Chicken, and I'm like, what's the name? And people kept correcting me, Murder Falcon. It's Murder Falcon.
Yeah.
This is Murder Falcon. It was just announced, and Daniel, do you want to tell people about it?
Yeah. Well, if the name hasn't sold you already, then no. But elevator pitch is the guy with the blonde hair. His name's Jake. He's a little burnt out. He's got a pot belly. He used to have a band until they broke up, and his guitar is broken, and his significant other is gone. We don't know where she is. And things are going pretty poorly until a magical force transforms his broken guitar into a super shredder, which is what you see on the cover. And from this guitar, a being is linked to it called Murder Falcon. And the better that Jake plays this guitar, the better Murder Falcon fights evil. Thank you.
Right.
So it's a bit of a combination of all the things that I love that make me me. There's comics, monsters, metal arms, falcons and birds of prey, bandanas, cargo pants, and Chuck Taylor's the high tops. And it's honestly really, really good. Sorry, it's just I don't know if I've ever been so confident about a project before in my whole life.
It's actually staggeringly good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Robert.
It has no. The idea is awesome in and of itself, but there's so much emotion in the story and so much drama on top of the craziness and the amazingness. It's a pretty stunning piece of work.
Go ahead.
No, please.
No, well, there's a trailer that's pretty dope too. If you just Google Murder Falcon, which let's be honest,
Yeah.
I want to do.
Good SEO ranking on that one.
You know, I Googled it before it came out, and the only thing is somebody got murdered in Falcon Lake.
I was going to say buy a falcon.
Yeah, I was hoping that would be the case, but no. And then I just came in like a bulldozer and just.
Somehow that murder will go unsolved.
It's got a body count.
Wait, who lettered it? It looks dope. Those are real good word balloons.
Oh, shoot.
Well, all right. Well, can I just tell him?
Yeah.
Tell them.
Okay, so I like to push myself artistically, and I really wanted to do hand lettering. So I did for the first 3 issues, and then Robert said, I don't really know if this is going so great. Maybe we should do digital lettering. And so now, but it's fair, because one thing I appreciate about Skybound is I know when they tell me something is good, I know it, and I know when they say, I think this could be a little better, that they mean it. And so we're having Russ Wooten come in and help out with the lettering, but we're doing a cool hybrid where a lot of the bigger things, like I think a few
Like a
pages
Bazow.
before, like Bazow, and then like when Murder Falcon says, I'm Murder Falcon, like that's my voice and my
and the overall balloon shapes and the balloon placement and all that stuff is all hand done, which
Yes.
adds an extra flavor to the book, which is why it looks so unique and cool.
Yep.
Your lettering was fantastic. It's just that at times it was like somewhat hard to read at various sizes, and so you got to
Yep.
get that digital clean.
Oh, so you said it was pretty good, except for it didn't accomplish the one thing that it should do.
well, probably
Basically, yeah.
props to
It
Skybound.
looked cool as hell unless you tried to read it.
Props to Skybound for even letting me give it a shot. Like there's a lot of comic book companies that'd be just like, nah, we're gonna get digital letters. They let me take a swing at it, and I did my very best, and I'm gonna get better at it. But Murder Falcon, I needed some help, and that's the way it
Well,
is.
to commemorate your lettering, we made these pins with Daniel's actual lettering. Some of the clearer examples that he did. And it says, metal will destroy all evil.
Yep.
So those are available at the booth. We also, I forgot to bring them. We made, and maybe you'll be able to get them at the Skybound booth, we made these promotional Murder Falcon picks, guitar picks.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that.
Whoa. They are huge. Well, they're really thick, but they're the tiny ones because I shred.
Yeah.
Daniel
You get me,
shreds, by the
man.
way.
We actually
do we have any videos of me shredding?
No, not in the
Okay, that's
presentation. Yeah.
Weak.
Only in our heads.
Yeah.
And hearts. Actually, Daniel did the music to the Murder Falcon trailer that we put out as well. So, I mean, you know, he does it all.
It's pretty great.
But yeah, we have some more pages from 1, and that's a cover to number 2, and probably getting a little bit more spoilery than I meant to on these ones, but you know, we're all friends. And there was one kick-ass image that I just really couldn't resist showing off.
Bro.
That's great.
So.
Let me tell you my favorite line in the whole book, and that is Jake and Murder Falcon just had an adventure, and Jake goes to Murder Falcon, "Are you okay?" And Murder Falcon goes, "Of course. Adrenaline is my food." So there you go.
And here's the other thing that I love too is that like most Skybound books, like all of the Skybound books that have come out, it's such a great idea and it's such a fun read and it's such a surface level thing. But there is a surprising amount of emotion in this story, and we're all having fun talking about how rad it is because it's so rad. But like I was taken aback by because again, if I read something by anybody else up on this table and I kind of know what the premise is, I'm expecting some of that emotion. But reading Murder Falcon was also emotional. Like it shreds. It's so kick-ass, but then you're like, man, I can't believe they snuck this stuff in there too, man. So definitely, I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about that, or do you not, or do you want to kind of leave some of that to the readers to experience?
Well, I can kind of relate through it for those of you that read Extremity. You know, when I first started it, it was just a revenge comic. I mean, there wasn't really too much personhood of me in the story, and it wasn't until that I put my fear of losing my drawing hand into the actual narrative of the character that it actually, I feel like it became something special. And I think you're right. I think Murder Falcon does have a very, like, we're all joking about it, has a great, oh man, it's great. It's just, you know, you say it and you're like, oh, okay. But there's an element that I strive to do in all of my work, to bring a part of me that, you know, hopefully other people can resonate with. And I want to do that in all my comics, even if there's shredding and monster guts and so on and so forth.
There you have it. All right, so that's Murder Falcon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, up next, yeah, you can absolutely applaud for that. That's Murder Falcon. There we go. Robert, up next, we're talking about Oblivion Song. This was launched earlier this year.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Oblivion Song is the story of Nathan Cole. He is a scientist who has, he's in modern-day Philadelphia, but it's a little bit different than our Philadelphia because 10 years ago, a large chunk of the city basically was transposed with a equally sized chunk of another dimension. And so hundreds of thousands of people on that landmass were basically sent to another dimension. And Nathan has developed technology to pop over and rescue those people. The reason he does this is because one of the people that were lost in Philadelphia at the time is his brother. And so he has a very difficult relationship with his brother that he's trying to mend and wants to get him back to try and fix that. And then the story gets pretty complicated from there. And it's like all crazy and awesome. Oblivion is a dimension that is just chock full of awesome monsters, and because it's been 10 years, the natural environment of that dimension is basically deteriorating that chunk of Philadelphia that's there, and so it's a very dangerous place that he continues to go day after day after day in order to try and save his brother, and all the other people that are still there.
Another great book with gorgeous art
by
yeah.
Lorenzo De Felici.
Just beautiful.
So and
also
Annalisa
really
Leone,
amazing
who colors it, is extremely talented. They're the most talented people in all of Italy, and we've got them. Yeah, and then we got some upcoming covers here. This is the cover to issue 8.
The first cover that we showed, what's that from?
Oh, the first cover that we showed is the trade paperback.
Okay.
If you want to go and bring that up again.
Yeah.
You went back, huh?
Yeah, that comes out in, is that September? Is that when we're looking at there?
Yeah, so
and that'll ship on the same day as issue 7. So if you haven't tried this series, the trade paperback, as you see there, collecting issues 1 through 6, will be in stores on September, Sean?
12th.
12th? Yeah. So September 12th.
Or the closest Wednesday to the 12th.
Yeah, and the 7th issue will be in stores the same day, so you can get the entire series thus far on September 12th. Get caught up, be ready to go.
There you go. What has been the most surprising thing getting this art back from Lorenzo? Because it's just incredible art. What you're working with him, and what has been the most surprising moment? A specific panel, an emotional moment, a page?
Well, Lorenzo's parents are biologists, and so and I am very lazy, and so in writing the story, I'll just be like, I don't know, man, it's like a cheetah. It's like an alien cheetah. It does what a cheetah does. Like, whatever. It's like chasing them. It'd be like getting chased by a cheetah. And then he's like, okay, well, the world works this way, and it's built this way, and there's this kind of fungus, and this kind of spore, and this thing, and then the animal that lives in that environment would be like this. And he kind of uses the, information he's just kind of, soaked in from being around his parents his entire life, and he builds these like crazy biological like systems where, all the different animals are working in conjunction, and there's like a really cool thought process that he does that goes into it that always wows me, and then I'm like, I'll just take credit for this later. This is pretty sweet. But his monster creation is amazing. And it was really difficult to find somebody for this concept just because I needed somebody who could build entire worlds, create really distinct, really cool monsters, but also do real world stuff in a way that's actually interesting. Because you can find artists that will do really cool real world stuff, but them being able to do something that's absolutely insane and otherworldly at the same time is very difficult, and he's able to straddle that line expertly.
I agree. I love it. From the first issue, we get an inside peek into both of your guys' creative process and going into it, but we get to see his creature design.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he lets us know we're so used to certain things that we have to remind ourselves what, maybe it's not going to have a head. Maybe this cheetah thing that Robert's describing isn't even going to have a head, and what does that look like? And it's really cool. It's really awesome. So there you have it. That is Oblivion Song. Up next, we have got Mr. Cates.
Oh, hi.
That's you.
Yeah,
This is Redneck.
it is.
This is Redneck. Tell us about Redneck.
Yeah, Redneck is, a book that I'm working on for like 3 years.
It's got a guy named Thanos.
Got Thanos in it, got Venom in it. No, it's... give me 1 second to promote the book at this company. You guys give me such shit about not doing this.
I thought you just forgot which. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So Redneck's my favorite book I write, and we've been working.
Quote him on that.
Yeah, we've been working on it for a really long time. It's crazy. Ariel and I were talking about it. I think we clocked it at 3 years, which is insane.
Close, yeah.
I think issue 13 comes out next week. It's about a small group of a small family of vampires that live out in East Texas that are just trying to get by. When the book opens, at least it's not where they're at anymore. When the book opens, we get the impression that there's not that many vampires left, and they're trying to just live a peaceful life. They found a way to coexist in that they have a cattle ranch. And they live off the blood of the cattle, and they sell the meat at a barbecue shop in town that their familiars, a guy named Phil and Evil, run. At the end of the first issue, it's been years now, so I'm just going to tell you. The boys, Greg and Seamus, they go to a strip club, and things go sideways on them. And in the morning, they wake up to find their youngest son, Slap, hanging and burning from a tree in their front yard. And so it sets off this mystery of who killed Slap that has so far erupted into this war between them and this family named the Landrys that in the end of our last arc came to a fever pitch in a compound in Waco, as things often do in compounds in Waco. It's not a dope place to find yourself in a compound. We're moving into the third arc, which is called Longhorns right now, where the family is trying to once again find some peace. Bartlett, who's our main character, we've been hinting for 12 issues now, for a year now, that there's one person that he thinks about a lot, and this one person, he's only ever turned one person into a vampire, and it haunts him, and we've never known why. And he talks about this girl named July Bell. And in issue 13, we're gonna meet her. If you can go a couple of slides back, we'll see July. She has a sweet golden fang. And she grows weed, and she's my favorite. So Bartlett's going to come face to face with kind of the overarching theme of the whole book, which is, there she is, there's July Bell, which is past errors and like past sins coming to a head and haunting these people. The book is very personal for me. It's based a lot with my own family. The book is a lot about a family that has evil in their blood but has decided to not be monsters anymore, which is a lot of my family. And most people who are from Texas have like a whole branch of their family tree that's not dope. And a lot of it has been Bowman family things, like the Landry feud and everything. We're gonna, when we get to Austin, which is where they're going, You can see it's going great so far for Bartlett. He's going to come face to face with his sin, which is July. Amassed around all that is this dude. At the end of issue 12, their familiar is a guy named Evil. Was taken away by the FBI and was somewhat left for dead by the Bowmans. He was abandoned. And Evil is the baddest motherfucker who's ever lived. He's not someone to trifle around with, and now he hates them. And so he'll be lurking around. Also, Perry, our little girl, is in some dire shape. She found herself trapped in a home that she was not wanted in, meaning that vampires have to be invited into places. Well, she was chained up and drugged when she was uninvited from a place and was unable to leave. As a consequence, is now in a deep, deep coma. And the only thing that can save her is the blood of her sire, except that her sire died in the first arc. Or did he? And so things are in, as always is in Redneck, things are tough. And they're not going to get any better. We have a big event coming up in Redneck. And I don't know how much, I shouldn't say anything about it, really, right?
No, but I this arc, there's good times and bad times. There's some really beautiful, awesome writing that, yeah.
It's Longhorns is the closest you're going to get to a quiet arc in this book. Because after the first two arcs, which were just brutal, this is a love story, which is something I've never written, unless you count Thanos, which every Thanos story is a love story.
Yeah.
And things are going to, I think that I think I can confidently say Longhorn sees the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Absolutely.
For the family. So keep an eye out because we're going to be announcing a big thing that's happening in Redneck very soon. A few big things coming up soon. So yeah, that's Redneck.
That's Redneck. Donnie, I'm really curious. You talked about how the book is very personal to
Sure.
you. You're from Texas. Have you had any feedback from fans that share your same feelings about their film, that have been able to relate to that, and what has that been like?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the family themes of the book are not specific to just Texas. Obviously, people have the thing is that my dad was raised in a really horrific circumstance. A lot of abuse and violence and horrible things. And when my brother and I were born, my dad just exiled that entire part of the family and raised us to be good people. I say that as not great evidence of his success, but I'm definitely better than them. And so, I just wanted to talk about that. And so as a consequence, there's a big letter that I wrote at the end of the first issue that kind of details all of that stuff. And yeah, we've had a lot of response from people who have kind of zeroed in on familiar things in their life. So it's been gratifying.
Well, there you have it. That's Redneck.
Right
Awesome.
on.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving on. Robert, tell us what's going on with Outcast.
Outcast. We just wrapped up our big invasion story arc where the town of Rome, West Virginia got even more, I'm just going to say evil as a shorthand, but people that have read the book know that's not exactly what I'm talking about, okay. Have come into town, and we leave our characters in issue 36 more or less trapped inside a compound, not in Waco, but in Rome, West Virginia, which is equally not cool. And, or dope, is that the thing? Not dope, I'm trying to be cool.
It's dope.
I'm going to dye my hair pink next week.
Hashtag rad.
I like that. So this volume, volume 6, hashtag rad, is out in, is this September too, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And that's out in September, and then we're on a bit of a hiatus as Paul Azaceta gets deeper into the next arc, which will launch in December with issue 37, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that at New York Comic Con. So
All right.
be on the lookout. We've got a lot of big news for Outcast, as well as the second season of the show. Nice. Debuted last night.
Very
so
cool.
We're back on Friday nights on Cinemax.
Hashtag rad.
That's great.
Yep.
Great. Sean,
Very
did you
cool.
want to add anything?
No, he's a master.
There we go.
I was getting to it.
I have media training. He just comes to it naturally.
I'm so good.
Sean, guys, go ahead and tell us about Outpost Zero. Sean, you want to go ahead and kick it
Yeah.
off?
So Outpost Zero came out earlier this month. The first issue is double-sized. Really talented team of Sean Kelly McKeever and Alex Tenfenke. It's basically about the smallest town in the universe, Earth has become inhospitable, so they've sent out these generation ships to colonize, and this civilization has landed on a planet that it wasn't supposed to, that can't support human life. And we pick up sometime later and focus on teenagers growing up and coming of age in a place that they will most likely die sooner than later in. Yeah, man, that's why it's a Skybound book.
That's right. It's dope, yeah.
But it kind of fits into our it's a YA sci-fi book, so we always look at our line a little bit holistically, and we have Super Dino, and you can't go from Super Dino to Walking Dead, so this kind of fits in the middle. And
You can't do it, Robert. Don't try to think of it. You can't. It doesn't work.
No.
I go from Super Dinosaur to Walking Dead all the time.
I know, right? You do, but yeah. Cool. Awesome. And what are we looking at here? This is
Here's issue 3. There's also a huge population of cats for one reason or the other, and that's 4. So the first trade comes out in September. It collects
They
the first
eat
4
cats.
issues. Not true. Not true. They do not eat cats. So yeah.
Awesome.
First issue in store now. In stores now.
Outpost Zero. Fantastic. Next up, Sean, go ahead and tell us what's going on with Birthright.
Yeah, so Birthright, we launch a new arc in September, and we kind of we do one of our signature stories that's set in Terranos. We focus on Mastema, who is the daughter of Lore, the big bad, and we kind of find out what her deal is, and it was actually not even what I expected it was. But yeah, Birthright's a story that's near and dear to us. Joshua Williamson and Andre are people we've been working with for years, and we have a movie in development at Universal. I read the screenplay, and it really doubles down on the brothers at the center of it. So if you don't know, there's a story about Mikey Rhodes, who goes missing for a year, returns as he went to another dimension, fought an evil wizard, came back looking like Conan, and his family's like, what are you talking about? And then bad stuff starts to happen, and it's a story about family. I think a lot of our books are about family, and something tore them apart, and the story is about them coming back together. So now Mikey has reunited with his wife, who is a warrior on Terranos, and we're all marching to a very apocalyptic war. We're closer to the end of Birthright than the beginning at this point, and it's going to be pretty intense.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. That's the cover to issue 33. And that is Birthright. I want to make sure that we've got enough time, too, for Q&A, but we cannot not talk about, Sean, your book, Gasolina.
Yeah.
We got to talk about it.
Okay.
And this is cool. What is it? There we go. We absolutely must talk about
Yeah,
Gasolina.
I mean, it's all leading to this issue 12, Fiesta, which takes place in a temple that's bleeding blood.
This is Spanish for party, in case people aren't aware. Fiesta is Spanish for...
All the issue titles are in Spanish, and I've hopefully chosen ones that most people are familiar with. I'm not trying to do...
Google. It's very easy to go Spanish to English on Google. It's fine.
Yeah. So, it's a story about Randy and Amalia, who are a couple of newlyweds at the center of a narco war in which monsters have been unleashed and are killing it, and they've finally chosen a side and have united with a local community to really start pushing back against these narcos and to mix results. So yeah, this issue has one of my favorite scenes, which we discovered the one that was, this is the second trade cover, comes out in September as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's everything that I've wanted a comic book about people raising a child that has a monster in his chest. And also shooting. So, not children.
Well, that is Gasolina. Thank you so much, Sean. All right, fantastic. And then we have got, to just sort of talk about
a couple other titles. We have Stellar by Joe Keating and Brett Blevins. Just amazing artwork. Yeah. It's just beautiful sci-fi, futuristic adventures of a woman who was engineered to be the perfect weapon to end a war. The war is over, and now she's reclaiming a life for herself. And then we also have on the next slide, Evolution, which is a horror book by a team of writers: Chris Sabella, Joe Keating again, James Asmus, and Joe Infernari. And that's a cult leader, just having a bit of a smoke, because you can't be a cult leader all the time. You need a break from all the culting. And then Thief of Thieves, we're currently in the final arc of this series with writer Brett Lewis and Sharon Martinborough, which will wrap up in December.
Can I ask who designed the Evolution logo?
I believe that was Andres Juarez, who is our our design master. I mean, he designs most of our logos. Dan designed his own logo because he does everything on his books.
Well, but Andre's he made it better.
A little polish.
Yeah, he gave it a polish.
Yeah.
You made it readable.
The first time I ever met Robert, he said, "Nice to meet you. That's a stupid hat you're wearing."
You're the worst.
Stone cold worst, bro.
What do you think about Donnie's hair?
Stone cold worst. And I think with that, we can open up the floor to some questions. I want to make sure that we have a little bit of time left in the panel. So if anybody has got any questions, we've got a microphone right up there. And I believe we've also got a special something to give to you if you are brave enough to come up and just ask a question to any of these lovely gentlemen up here. Here we go.
Hi there. Thanks for coming out and.
That's a stupid hat, bro.
Hey,
Don't listen to him. I'm from Chicago.
don't insult my Cubs.
Go Cubs. Go Cubs.
If you permit me, I need to ask something about Walking Dead TV show.
Oh, please
I know
do.
this guy.
Please
This
do.
is from Mr. Kirkman. One of the things I enjoy, one of the millions things I enjoy about Walking Dead is the Easter eggs. And one is driving my friends crazy. And the episode Swear with Tara, she finds a key card with the letters PPP. Please throw me a bone and tell me what that means, or are we gonna find out what that is? Come on.
If I remembered, I'd tell you.
Oh, that was really disappointing.
Stay tuned. I don't know.
We'll at least find out what that is.
Yes,
later.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing in The Walking Dead that's just kind of thrown in that won't be coming back.
Okay.
But
and thanks for the
I will
Abe-
say that was not my contribution.
All right. And thanks for the Abe Doctor Easter egg and Fear. That was great.
Oh, great.
Thank you much.
What was your
Very
name,
cool.
sir? What was your name?
Brian.
Brian, thank you, Brian. Thank you for the question. Thank you so much. Next up. What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Crystal. I'm a recent comic book convert, and
Welcome.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I say
welcome.
recent, but it's been like a year and a half, but I've maybe read 4 in the last year.
Welcome.
And a half, so yeah, it's very slow going, and it's been such a surprise to me how many TV shows have been converted from comics. I never realized that was a medium. So I guess my question's for Robert Kirkman. Sorry, I don't know who the rest of you are. I'm really terrible.
Oh, this is the highlight of the show for me right here.
You sound like a veteran comic book reader.
It's like a female me.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Do you know who Venom is, by any chance?
So I guess my question is, I missed the very beginning of this panel for the die. With Walking Dead, it's been going for so long, and you say it's fun, but you're a little bit tired. And I noticed that some writers, they like to do a little bit shorter arcs, or they have a definite ending in mind.
I call those writers wimps
All right, so
and cowards.
so nothing like that for die, like maybe just a shorter little, like, do you have like a definite end in
I
mind?
can
or-
guarantee you that Die is not going to go as many issues as Walking Dead.
Okay.
Past that, I won't say. It
Right.
is a finite story that has a beginning, middle, and end, but will run monthly for a good long time. So
Right.
please get invested in it. But I wouldn't expect an issue 186 of Die. Although
Yeah.
I don't know, Chris. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to hire some assistants.
I have
But yeah,
no
I mean,
idea.
my books are not all going to be 500 issue epics. So
Yeah, the compendiums
Oblivion
are scary,
Song.
so.
They're scary to me too.
Yeah. Okay.
I
But
measure
yes.
my life in them. I'm like, I won't make it to the next compendium, and then it gets printed. I go, something went wrong.
Well, thank you so much for the question. Hopefully you
Thank
saw
you.
something today that maybe you're going to go
I
and
did.
check out.
I did.
If
Yeah.
if
I'm
you
actually-
come
I
to
might
my
go for-
table,
I know this guy's been getting a hard time, but I might read Redneck. We'll see.
Oh, good.
There we go.
No, I'm just kidding. Nah, you're.
if you
you're
come to
dope.
my table,
You're the
I'll get you a
best.
free copy of Extremity, and that's a promise.
No. That's not a good
awesome.
book.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna get her hooked on my books before she reads.
I'm sorry, I
any of
have
you
to
guys.
read your name like before. I'm really.
It's cool. It's
Come on
Daniel
up.
Warren Johnson.
Just jot everybody's name down in your phone and take some pictures. There we go.
Yeah. It's
Take some pictures.
I'm at.
I actually have an extra one.
If you okay, here's what you do. Okay, hello, yes, hi, thank you. Okay, if you want, do you want to take a video of me saying this? Yeah. Okay, hold. All right. You ready?
Like a
Yeah,
wrestler,
don't take
you
a
can cut a
video of me.
promo right now.
Go ahead.
All right. My name is Daniel Warren Johnson. As God is my witness, you will read my comic before any of these other people's comics. If you go to the Felix Comic Art booth, that's...
Listen up, brother. The only book that you should be reading is Redneck. All right? Murder Falcon is for jabronis.
Felix Comic Art booth, 4612. Tell them that Daniel Warren Johnson sent you and that you can have both copies of Extremity for free.
That's phenomenal. It was Crystal, correct? That was your name's Crystal? Everybody, let's welcome Crystal to comics. Round of applause. Cool. We got another one. All right, next up. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Chris. This question's for Robert Kirkman as well.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I feel like an asshole now.
How many other Roberts are on the panel here?
I prefer everyone call me by my first and last name at all times. My wife's always like, Robert Kirkman, will you please do the dishes?
So I've been a fan of Walking Dead since the first issue, but it came out when I was 7 years old, so I had no money to buy it.
Why do you hurt me so?
But I love The Walking Dead, and with you writing Here's Negan, I was wondering, would you ever make a background story comic for other characters?
Nope.
In all honesty, I would have loved to see a Jesus background story because I cosplayed him this year.
Oh, yeah, no, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask about Jesus. That seems to be the one character that comes up the most when people ask about backstory stuff. There are no plans now, but I wouldn't rule it out in the future. It's about, coming up with a story, and sometimes that takes time.
There you go. Thank you so much for the question. All right, next up.
Thank you.
What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Carter. I've been a fan since issue 1. My dad got it for me when I was too little to buy it originally, but I read it when I was 5. So.
What?
I like this.
I may have snuck it out of his room. But it's a kind of a cliche question, but to all of you guys, what's your single biggest accomplishment?
It's a great question from Carter. What do you think your single biggest accomplishment is? I guess in comics, because I'm sure some of you might be like, I'm married, I have children. Blah, blah, blah.
I'll just go first, and I'll say not.
That stuff is important as well, Hector.
Yes, it is.
Nah.
But I feel like it's all a given. So let's just cut right to the career stuff. That your biggest accomplishment.
Biggest accomplishment. Not making fun of Donnie's hair this whole panel.
You've now failed in that. You've accomplished nothing. Venom #1 sold 250,000 copies. You son of a bitch. That's mine.
We're fighting now.
Keeping the die secret, probably.
That's a good one.
That's a great one.
We've all as your friend been asking you what you've been working on for years, and you always was like,
My actual friends, I did tell.
You son of a bitch.
This is the best.
I have legitimately no idea.
Ghost Fleet.
You know what? I used to draw foreheads terribly. They're like skyscrapers. If you read The Ghost Fleet, great book, but oh my God, those foreheads are terrible.
Them foreheads, though, bro.
The writing ain't
More
my
like
favorite.
5 heads.
Finally,
Writing ain't great either.
I finally overcame the long forehead problem, and that is my greatest accomplishment.
It's a bunch of 5 heads.
Sean?
I think helping to assemble this line with Robert and give a platform to creators as disparate and unique as these individuals and everything else we do. It's always a work in progress, but been doing it for almost 6 years, and it's more fun and more rewarding the longer it goes on. Everyone else wants to make jokes, but I got heart.
That doesn't sound like you.
I don't show it to you, Donnie. I just,
Everyone hates Donnie. I get it.
No, that's not it at all. Come on.
That's awesome. Thank you for the question, Carter. Appreciate it. Thank you. Very nice. Next question. What's your name and what's your question?
Yeah, my name is Eric. I had a question for Donnie and one for Sean.
Cool.
So you said the gang is coming to... Yeah, sorry, man. Come on, share it. You said the gang is coming to Austin. Are you going to use any iconic Austin locations like Broken Spoke or Continental Club or anything like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I live in Austin. I've been there for like 14 years now. For real?
Yeah, for
Dope. I've been there for like 14 years now. And so they're all iconic locations to me. So like everyone who's in the book, like Bartlett and Seamus and Greg and all those guys, they're based off my friends whose names are just Bartlett, Greg, and Seamus, and they look like that. I'm just a hack, and I know all those guys because I used to be a cook. I was a cook for a very long time, and we all worked at this bar called Posse. It's Posse East, and so that bar is featured prominently. It's actually been in the book before in a flashback in issue like 11 or some shit like that. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of places like that. Mount Bonnell is in there where I proposed to my wife. The chapel that I got married at is in it. There's a lot of little special locations that are, and like the main setting of it is this little alcove called Hippie Hollow. Off Lake Travis, which is like a nudist. It's not legal, but it's a nudist hippie place that's weird. I used to work at this restaurant called the Oasis. That I was a cook there too, and it sat 550 feet, built in the side of a cliff over Lake Travis. And there was these for tourists. There were these telescopes that you could look out. And one night we all got really drunk, a bunch of the cooks. And we got some welding gear, and we welded all the telescopes to point at Hippie Hollow, so that all the tourists would come in and look at it and just see a bunch of naked hippies every day. So that's in there. So yeah, a lot of stuff like that.
That's cool. Getting drunk is what the Oasis is famous for.
Absolutely, and burning to the ground.
Yes. Sean, I wanted to ask you, I'm going to be overseas on the Walking Dead Day. Are you guys, is that going to be an international event or?
We are working with some of our exclusive partners in Italy, France, Spain, and Germany. Did I get those right?
Can you add Prague? Maybe.
So probably not for you. I'm sorry. But a lot of our, our stuff isn't super limited. Like we want it to be accessible. There are some rare items in the blind bags, but I feel like if you should be able to get most of what you want. And if not, you can always drop us a line. We can see if we can figure something out.
Sounds good.
There we go. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the question. I liked when Donnie described the nudist. You were like, absolutely, yeah,
no
absolutely.
doubt.
Yeah, might have gone there. Great. It's dope. And I think is that all of our questions? Guys, thank you so much. Big round of applause to everybody here for the Skybound Comics panel. I so appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you again. Have a great rest of your con. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Hector.
Thanks, everybody.